A king, a conqueror, a legend, Alexander the Great. The name itself evokes images of sweeping conquests and unmatched military brilliance. His campaigns were legendary, his strategies studied by military leaders for centuries. Born in Pella, the capital of Macedon, in 356 BC, Alexander was no ordinary ruler. From a young age, he was tutored by the philosopher Aristotle, who instilled in him a love for knowledge and a curiosity about the world. He was a force of nature who, in a short but intense lifetime, would change the course of history. His determination and vision were unparalleled, driving him to achieve feats that seemed impossible. By the age of 30, he had carved out an empire that stretched from the shores of Greece to the banks of the Indus River. This vast territory was a testament to his military prowess and his ability to inspire and lead men. His name became synonymous with ambition, military genius, and a thirst for knowledge that knew no bounds. He sought to blend the cultures of the East and West, creating a legacy that would influence civilizations for generations. Yet his life, like a shooting star, burned brightly but briefly. His untimely death at the age of 32 left the world in shock and his empire in turmoil. Alexander's story is one of triumphs and tragedies, of ambition and untimely death. His conquests brought him glory, but also immense challenges and heartbreak. He was a king, a general, a statesman, but above all, he was an enigma. His complex personality and his relentless drive continue to intrigue historians and scholars. His death, shrouded in mystery and intrigue, has captivated historians and enthusiasts alike for centuries. Was it a conspiracy? Some believe he was poisoned by those who feared his power. Was it a natural death? Others argue that he succumbed to a fever or an illness that could not be treated at the time. Or was it something else entirely? Theories abound, but the truth remains elusive, adding to the mystique of his legacy. This essay delves into the life, death, and legacy of Alexander the Great, exploring the various theories surrounding his demise and the enduring mystery that continues to fascinate us. Through the lens of history, we seek to understand the man behind the legend and the impact he left on the world. The shaping of a mind, Aristotle and the young Alexander. Alexander was born into a world on the brink of change. The ancient world was a tapestry of cultures, philosophies, and burgeoning empires, each vying for dominance and influence. His father, Philip II of Macedon, was a shrewd and ambitious ruler who had united the fractious Greek city-states under his banner. Philip's military innovations and strategic prowess laid the groundwork for what would become one of the most formidable empires in history. His mother, Olympias, was a fierce and proud woman, descended from the legendary Achilles. She was known for her strong will and mystical beliefs, which she imparted to her son, instilling in him a sense of divine purpose and destiny. From a young age, Alexander displayed a keen intellect and a thirst for knowledge. He was not just a warrior in the making, but also a scholar, eager to understand the world around him. Recognizing his son's potential, Philip entrusted his education to none other than Aristotle, one of the greatest philosophers of all time. Aristotle, a student of Plato and a teacher in his own right, brought a wealth of knowledge and a unique perspective to Alexander's education. For 3 years, from the age of 13 to 16, Alexander received a privileged education at the Temple of the Nymphs in Mysa. This serene and inspiring setting was the perfect backdrop for a young mind eager to absorb the wisdom of the ages. Under Aristotle's tutelage, he studied philosophy, literature, rhetoric, and science. These subjects were not just academic pursuits, but were seen as essential tools for leadership and governance. Aristotle instilled in him a love of learning, a respect for knowledge, and a fascination with the natural world. He taught Alexander to see the interconnectedness of all things, from the stars in the sky to the plants on the ground. He taught him to think critically, to question assumptions, and to approach problems with a logical and analytical mind. These skills would prove invaluable as Alexander faced the myriad challenges of leadership and conquest. This education would have a profound impact on Alexander's life and reign. It was not just the knowledge he gained, but the way he learned to think and approach the world that set him apart from other leaders of his time. It shaped his worldview, influenced his decision-making, and instilled in him a sense of destiny. Alexander's conquests were not just about expanding territory, but about spreading the Hellenistic culture and ideas that he had come to cherish. His education under Aristotle was the cornerstone of his legacy, a legacy that would echo through the ages. From Granicus to Gaugamela, the ascent of a military genius. Alexander the Great's journey is one of the most remarkable in military history. At the age of 20, Alexander inherited his father's throne and his ambitions. His father, King Philip II, had already laid the groundwork for a powerful Macedonian state, but it was Alexander who would take it to unprecedented heights. His first challenge was to quell rebellions in Greece and secure his southern borders. The Greek city-states, always fractious and independent, needed to be unified under his rule to ensure stability and strength. He then turned his attention eastward towards the vast and wealthy Persian Empire. This was no small feat. The Persian Empire was the superpower of the ancient world, with resources and armies that dwarfed those of Macedonia. His campaign against the Persians would become the stuff of legend. Each battle was a testament to his strategic brilliance and his ability to inspire his men to achieve the impossible. Alexander's military genius was evident from the outset. His ability to read the battlefield, anticipate his enemy's moves, and adapt his strategies on the fly set him apart from other commanders. He was a brilliant tactician, a courageous leader, and a master of psychological warfare. His presence on the battlefield was enough to boost the morale of his troops and intimidate his enemies, and an inspiring figure who commanded the loyalty and admiration of his troops. His men followed him not just out of duty, but out of genuine respect and admiration for his leadership. He led from the front, sharing in their hardships and dangers and earning their unwavering respect. This hands-on approach made him more than just a distant figurehead. He was a leader who truly understood the trials of his soldiers. His victories at the Granicus River, Issus, and Gaugamela are studied even today in military academies around the world. These battles are not just historical events, they are case studies in effective leadership and innovative tactics. And Gaugamela are studied even today in military academies around the world. His ability to turn the tide of battle even when outnumbered is a lesson in the power of strategic thinking and decisive action. He defeated numerically superior armies, outmaneuvered experienced generals, and conquered vast territories. His campaigns stretched from Greece to Egypt and into the heart of Asia, creating one of the largest empires the world had ever seen. He was a master of strategy and logistics, understanding that an army's strength was not just in its numbers, but in its ability to be supplied and maintained over long distances. And he understood the importance of morale and momentum. His ability to keep his army motivated and focused, even in the face of overwhelming odds, was a key factor in his success. Each victory brought him closer to his ultimate goal, the conquest of the Persian Empire. His relentless drive and unyielding ambition reshaped the ancient world and left a legacy that endures to this day. By 323 BC, Alexander's empire stretched from Egypt in the west to the Indus River in the east. He was the undisputed ruler of the largest empire the world had ever seen. But his triumphs had come at a cost. Years of constant campaigning had taken their toll on his health. He had been wounded in battle numerous times, and his body bore the scars of countless campaigns. In Babylon, the ancient city he had chosen as his capital, Alexander fell ill. His condition deteriorated rapidly. He was seized by fever, racked by pain, and unable to keep down food or water. His generals gathered around his bedside were gripped by fear and uncertainty. The exact nature of Alexander's illness remains a subject of debate among historians and medical experts. Some ancient sources describe symptoms consistent with typhoid fever, malaria, or perhaps a viral infection. Others suggest he may have suffered from alcohol poisoning or the effects of a long-standing medical condition. The accounts of Alexander's final days are frustratingly vague and often contradictory. Some sources mention a high fever that raged for days, while others describe chills and sweating. Some report severe abdominal pain, vomiting, and diarrhea, suggesting a gastrointestinal illness. There is even mention of paralysis setting in before his death. These disparate symptoms have fueled centuries of speculation and debate. Could it have been malaria, a constant threat in the region, or typhoid fever spread through contaminated food or water? Some historians have proposed West Nile virus, a mosquito-borne illness that can cause encephalitis and paralysis. Adding to the puzzle is the fact that Alexander's trusted friend Hephaestion had died a few months earlier after a brief illness, leading some to suspect a contagious disease. the lack of a clear diagnosis has only deepened the mystery surrounding Alexander's death, making it fertile ground for conspiracy theories and alternative explanations. In the absence of conclusive evidence about a natural illness, suspicion naturally falls on the possibility of foul play. Poisoning was a regrettably common tool of political maneuvering in the ancient world, and Alexander had certainly made his share of enemies. The timing of his death, just as he was making plans for further conquests and consolidating his vast empire, strikes some as suspiciously convenient for those who might have coveted his power. Among the potential suspects, Antipater, a Macedonian general left in charge of Alexander's European territories, features prominently. Antipater had clashed with Alexander's mother, Olympias, and may have seen the king's death as an opportunity to secure his own position. Other theories point fingers at members of Alexander's inner circle, perhaps motivated by personal grudges or ambition. While the poison theory is intriguing, it remains speculative. Ancient sources offer tantalizing hints but no concrete proof. Modern historians and scientists, lacking physical remains to examine, can only weigh the existing evidence and offer their interpretations.